Hello, today is Friday, July 18th. Today I received a nice email from the sales director at Apartment Guide. The background behind this story is that last Tuesday I went to a chamber ribbon cutting for a really luxurious apartment complex. Occasionally I go to some ribbon cuttings as a volunteer, just kind of help welcome the new business. In the meantime, I get to meet the manager of the business, often get a tour of the new business. So that's kind of a neat way to spend some time as far as networking and getting to know some people around town. The cool thing was that while I was at this ribbon cutting, the citywide sales coordinator for Apartment Guide was attending, and also the state sales director for Apartment Guide was attending. They were excited to get to meet an Apartment Guide photographer because there's a strong separation. There's actually a couple companies between us, and so we never really get to talk to each other. There's things on their end that they know, hey, we know that people want to see more photographs of this, or we need more of this kind of style or this kind of amenity covered. And so they gave me a few tips of things that they need, and I can give them a few tips from my side of saying, hey, this is what we provide, but these things don't make it online, and who's making these decisions? And so it was neat to be able to get to meet each other and pass business cards so that we can ask each other questions in the future. So today I sent them some examples of my work. They said that they have some power to steer some more projects my way, special projects, things that they need some extra quality done. They can go ahead and pass those on to me, and I told them that I would welcome any instructions on specific things that they need, because usually there's no communication between us. So it's kind of a win-win. That should bring more jobs shooting some apartment complexes. They'll also be interesting properties, and I'll feel like I'm actually serving someone with a purpose instead of just a random, the same specifications for every property, when in fact they're all unique and individual. Now, that was entirely God to put that kind of a meeting together. I expected to meet somebody at the ribbon cutting, and I had a good feeling about going, but I had no idea that I would meet actual Apartment Guide staff. That just never happens. That was a really cool gift.
Welcome to Grace and Glory. It is July the 18th. This is the video log of our adventure as we learn to steward our finances and resources according to God's plan. I hadn't intended to record tonight, but it's a date night, Friday night. Jared and I were having a great conversation on the couch over popcorn. We started talking about culture, just the way things have progressed the past 100 years, from the society we used to be to the society we are now. This culture had such a solid foundation, and really we're continuing to reap so many of the benefits of that foundation. We were talking about how over the past 100 years that's been steadily chipped away and chipped away. And it really got me thinking. He said how back in the 50s there was a group of people who had been trying to tear down that foundation for a while because they don't agree with it. There was no one simultaneously continuing to build up that foundation. Finally, there's a small group that started building. But as we were thinking about it, I was thinking that the problem is a lot of times, if you want to use the analogy of a thick wall, so an opposing member will pull a brick. A member for the wall will grab the brick and try and shove it back in. And so, because the opposition's so much bigger, a bunch of them are just continuing to tear down the wall while a small group of us fight over the bricks. Instead of just building good wall on the other side and continuing to strengthen what's there, it reminded me of something that my boss told me once. And I work for a ministry that does missions work over in Africa. And she said that the best way to advance any good thing, whether that's the kingdom of God or good ideas, is not to try and fight the darkness. You'll never win fighting the darkness because you're on their turf. All you have to do to get rid of darkness is to bring in light as quickly as you possibly can. And so it just struck me tonight that really that's how you save a culture. You don't fight over the bricks that are being pulled down, but you just bring in as many new bricks as you possibly can, as quickly as you can, and build it up. And it applies to business too. You don't want to tear your opponents down. You don't want to spend time fighting them or trying to outdo them. You just want to spend all your energy doing the best job you can possibly do. It's a kingdom principle. God set us up that way. He set the whole world up that way. Light can't stand in front of darkness. It's just gone. All darkness is the absence of light. That's my inspiration for the evening. In all the areas of my life, I want to focus on bringing light. Instead of thinking, what's the problem here that needs to be solved? Think of, what is the best thing that could possibly happen here? What is the ideal thing that we need to do next? And then really pray for that and pursue that instead of always fighting fires. So anyway, really thankful that God gave me the husband I have so we can have conversations like this and even think of these things, and also just grateful to him that he would lead and guide our conversation.